Hello, and welcome to my new channel where I will be reviewing games and covering general gaming news and just talking about whatever gaming topic that I want to talk about. So, in my first video on the channel, let's talk about Randy Pitchford. He is the CEO of Gearbox, and on May 13th, actually, he had a reply to basically, he had just this tweet talking about the Nintendo Switch, and someone says, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And Randy, and I do believe that to be true, like surely the CEO of Gearbox, the guy making Borderlands 4, has some sway in that. But he says, not my call. If you're a real fan, though, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. So, first of all, just an insanely out of touch thing to say, but it's really funny because not a lot of people really knew that he made this statement. Again, this is over a week ago. But now this is gaining a lot of traction. You can see 3 hours ago, people saying you can fuck off with your real fan nonsense, which I agree, and we will touch on in a second. Synth Potato, dog, we are not paying $80 for a Borderlands game, fully knowing you'll do multiple season passes that cost another $100, and you'll probably sell weapon skins too. Exactly, like they're wanting to just charge more and more for the product, but then also fill it with microtransactions. But this whole if you're a real fan thing really pisses me off. I've long been a sports fan, and it's always pissed me off how, like, look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. They just got ousted from the playoffs. But to go to a Leafs game, I don't know what those tickets were going for, but I do know that it's almost impossible to go to Leafs games. And there are so many die-hard Maple Leafs fans or whatever, pick any sport and any team you want. There's tons of die-hard true fans that just flat out can't afford to go to those games and actually get to root for them in person. And it's actually a big problem because you get these fans that are just rich, and especially just say like at NBA games. So the atmosphere at a lot of these games is kind of shitty because a lot of these rich people are just there to be seen or wine and dine people because they're businessmen or whatever. They're not there to actually, cheer on their team. The true fans are watching it at home on whatever TV they can afford. And now it's becoming harder and harder to watch sports with all the like live streaming services that we have and just all these things. Anyways, that's a whole rant for a different video. But I've always just really hated this sentiment behind if you're a real fan. Like, fuck that. Some people just straight up can't afford this stuff. And to talk about $80 games back in the past, I know when I was just a really little kid, my mom bought me like NBA Hang Time in like 1997. And I think it was $80 back then as well for N64. But it's not a fair comparison. A lot of people talk about like, yeah, luxuries were cheap back in the day, but at least the cost of living wasn't. Now the cost of living is just insane. People can't afford rent because we're just allowing these big corporations to just buy up homes and then jack up rent prices. So people just don't have disposable income, even if yes, in 1991, that's going to be like at least close to a $200 game probably by now with inflation. But again, it's not a fair comparison. So let's just look at what some people are saying to this completely out of touch CEO, multi-millionaire, right? And it's like, yeah, I get it. You used to work minimum wage, whatever. And you did shell out. But the landscape has changed so much. So Iron Madden says, Randy Pitchford is the biggest dolt in the gaming industry, really thinking paying $80 for a game makes you a real fan. Again, just basically what I talked about. Mischief, he's a good YouTuber. It's incredible how Borderlands 4 went from a guaranteed purchase for me to something I'm not remotely interested in solely thanks to Randy Pitchford. This guy is genuinely just PR kryptonite in human form. And that's so true. This guy, again, I don't want to get super off topic, but he just does terrible PR. Basically, anytime he opens his mouth, it's just super out of touch and just genuinely hurts the game. And that's what we're going to get to with some of these tweets. Because as Mischief said, it was a guaranteed purchase for him. And now he's not remotely interested. Whether or not he will play it is one thing. But I will touch on my tweet that I had. I basically just said was considering trying Borderlands 1 to 3 and then giving Borderlands 4 a go. So for some context, I've never played any of the Borderlands games, so no, I'm not a fan. But I was like, hey, I've heard good things over the years from my friends, from people I game with, about the Borderlands franchise. Lots of people I've talked to are really into it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll give it a go before Borderlands 4 comes out so I can get caught up to like what's going on. And now, again, just literally because the CEO is so out of touch and we as consumers really have to vote with our wallet because it is the only way that these people will learn and listen. Truthfully, the only way they will listen is if you hit them in the bottom line. That's really where it hurts them. So yeah, for me, maybe I'll check out Borderlands 4 one day, but I'm certainly not going to buy it at $80 US. And for context, I'm Canadian, so that's going to be pushing $100 for a video game that, again, I have no history with. I never played Borderlands 1 to 3, so now this is just a huge deterrent. And even if he came out and said, no, like, we think what we have is above, over, and exceeds your expectations beyond belief, something like a GTA 6, put it that way. Like, I'll be fully upfront. If GTA 6 wants to charge $80 US, I'm buying that shit because I trust Rockstar and I've played all the GTA games. I am a fan of that franchise. But for something I was just going to dip my toes into and just be like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Now I don't want to because he just sounds so out of touch. Where, again, if he was like, no, we have something really good on offer here. And yeah, he could have basically just said anything other than, oh, if you're a real fan, you'll pay $80. Legacy Killer HD, another YouTuber, he's great. Randy, don't sell Borderlands 4 for $80. If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. Again, just super out of touch. Oh no, it's Alex. You're the CEO. It literally is your call. If you're a fan of people buying games, you'd make it happen to not charge $80 for your game. Stop using 1991 game prices as a reason to justify game prices today. It's a false equivalency. Again, I kind of talked about that, how like cost of living is so much higher, even though luxuries have come down by comparison in price. That's just how it is now. That's the way the world is in 2025. If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. I may not be a smart man, but if a CEO shrugged with zero empathy and told me, oh well, figure it out, I'm not buying your product. And that's how I feel. I'm so sick of AAA gaming just gouging us. Again, COD and all these ones that are like super egregious. They just churn out slop content basically every year and just be like, yep, pay premium price for this product, even though we didn't put premium effort in. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is a perfect example of people that actually genuinely care about their product and they only charge $50 for it. And it's a raving success as it rightfully should be, but it's like these AAA studios can afford to do that. They can afford to do that more than the small studios, yet they're the ones that want to price gouge. So again, for me, I just don't want to support them if that's the way their CEO acts. Chadley says, it was going so well. Genuinely saw nothing but excitement for Borderlands 4, and now this will guaranteed change the overall sentiment. Not a great look. Randy should apologize for the bad wording, and the game should be announced for the standard $70. Exactly. I'm in the same boat. Everyone I've been talking to is pretty much just pumped for Borderlands 4. All the guys I game with, people in real life. Like they said, the sentiment around the game has been very, very positive. And then you come out and say this, and yeah, it's basically just going to kill a lot of excitement that people who are maybe on the fence about it. Now, again, like me, I'm the perfect example. I was on the fence about it because I don't have a history with it. And then I was like, yeah, maybe I'll try it out. Now, I don't want to support this because it's completely out of touch. And then Destin, he covers games. He's a journalist. Come on, man. You had to have known this would not go over well. Again, just really putting a damper on the excitement that people already had for this game. A few weeks ago, they announced they're releasing it 2 weeks early because it's like fully polished pretty much. And yeah, they just want to get it in consumers' hands. And then they dropped this. So yeah, just a real shame. And I hope these CEOs start waking up. Even if you feel like that in your head, because a lot of these people do, don't say it out loud. But again, he is a PR nightmare. And basically just says what he's thinking without thinking of the broader impact it's going to have on the game. And I do suspect that this will impact sales. Like I said, I'm just one person, and that's one person that's not going to be buying it now on release. Again, I was going to probably play the games leading up to it, get some hype, because I do stream. It's Tizzle7 on Twitch if you want to check me out. or I stream on my other channel on YouTube. It's Tizzle. But yeah, I was going to play them because, yeah, it's a looter shooter and I'm kind of known for Destiny 2 content. So yeah, it was kind of in my wheelhouse and I was like, yeah, I think I'll give this a shot. And now there's a lot of other games that I want to play. Steam just had a huge sale on the Witcher series, Witchers 1 to 3. So I might just play those instead. They're all like 90% off. So yeah, I'll gladly wait for Borderlands 4 to go down in price before I touch the Borderlands series. I would start with 1 again. But yeah, now pretty much any hype that I had or interest is gone. So good job, Randy. Anyways, catch you in the next one. Peace.